is the best and the most updated CAC company registration video that you will ever see. In fact, I published a CAC company registration video about 6 months ago, but after I have helped several businesses and individuals like you to register on CAC and helped countless others to solve all manner of CAC queries and get their business successfully registered with CAC, it has become very necessary for me to update that particular CAC company registration video. And that is the reason why I went out of my way to record this comprehensive company registration video for you. Even if you know nothing about CAC registration before now, or you are looking for the best CAC registration video to watch so that you can either offer this service to businesses and make huge money from it, or even as a beginner, then stick around this video and make sure you don't skip any second from it, because every moment of this video is packed with very important and useful information and guide. Now, before I begin to show you how to start using a real-life company registration from scratch to finish, I want you to take these very important warnings and information very seriously. Number one of the biggest and most common errors that people make while doing CAC registration is about the date of commencement of the business. Please, either you are registering for yourself or someone else, make sure that when you are filling in your business commencement date, use the very date when you are doing the registration. Even if your business already started long before now, except you know exactly what you are doing and the reason why you are doing so, you must always use today's date. I mean the very date that you are doing that registration. If not, CAC will charge you what they call the late commencement penalty, and they will query you and you will not be able to continue that registration if you don't pay that penalty. Number two, another very common mistake I see every time is that non-accredited agents who want to do registration for businesses mistakenly register their customers under their own personal account. When you do so, you will quickly notice that it's your name that will appear on the business as the owner of the business when you are about to make your payment. This is because when you open a new account with CAC will automatically sync your account with your NIN details. So, if you have made that mistake, you only have two options: either to forfeit that registration and start all over again correctly, which means that you will also forfeit any money that you have paid, and the most painful part of that is that you can't use the business name again. But I recorded a video that shows you how to recover that business name so that you can actually reuse it again. The video is currently somewhere on your screen and it will also be in the video description. Make sure you watch it. And if you want me to help you recover the name by myself, yes, you can chat me up on the WhatsApp number in the video description. Please only chat, don't call. Okay, already, even when we have not really started, I'm already giving you values, right? So please do me a favor by liking this video and please share it on your social media platform. I really appreciate it. Also, if you are a new or an unsubscribed visitor to my channel and you love to see amazing digital marketing videos like this one, then subscribe. I'll be happy to see you join my amazing community. And also, very quickly, I have a CAC Masterclass where I personally help you become a CAC registration guru and earn between 10,000 naira to 120,000 naira daily with CAC registration. I have over 40 happy students as we speak. So if you want to be in my private class, then check out the link also in the video description. And if you need any help in fixing any CAC queries, you can also chat me up. But do know that I may charge you a little token for that. So without wasting any further time, let's go to my computer and let me walk you through this comprehensive CAC company registration process from start to finish. Let's get over to it. So, depending on when you are watching this video, there are two ways by which you can carry out or get an account to carry out any CAC registration. Okay, the first one is for you to open a personal or a public account. And what I mean by that is that if you have a business or you are working as an agent and you want to register a business, you need to use the details of the owner of that business to create an account with the CAC. Okay, one of the mistakes I've seen a lot of persons make is that they open their own personal account and then they want to register other people on that account. It doesn't work like that. The reason is because if you want to open a new CAC account, let's go there. You're going to come to pre.cac.gov.ng, and when you enter that, you're going to come to this register button here. I'm going to click on that, and when you do, CAC is going to require that you fill in your phone number. CAC will require that you fill in your phone number or your NIN. Immediately you use your own personal detail, I mean your phone number or your NIN to create an account with CAC. CAC will automatically sync your NIN details, I mean your name, your phone number, and everything that you have on your NIN detail to this account. So every business that you open with this account must carry your name, and that is what you don't want to do if you're registering another person or another business that does not belong to you. You don't want to do that. So what you're going to do in this case is to use the phone number of the owner of the business that you're trying to register or the person's NIN. Usually I always prefer to go with phone number. Okay, so when you do that, you're going to click on next, and then it's going to send a verification code to the email inbox of that person. Of course, when you click on next, it's going to give you a form where you're going to have to fill in the email and the name and a few other things to open this account. Now, once you do that, and a verification link is going to be sent to the email inbox of that person that you're opening the account for. All you need to do is just to copy out the link, the verification link from that email inbox, and once you click on it, it's going to give you the access to complete the account creation process. So if you're doing this for a business, of course, all you can just ask the person to do is to forward the old email to your own email, and then you can continue and carry out the process. But again, like I said, if you're doing this business at a time when CAC is not sending the verification link to your email inbox, that means CAC is not allowing the public to register or to create new accounts. And I believe that the reason why they are doing it is because a lot of persons are doing wrong things while they are trying to register their business or their company or for people. So CAC actually stopped allowing the public to do a registration. And if you are looking for that opportunity to get an accredited agent that allow you to use their dashboard to carry out registration, you can reach out to me. Just make sure that you send me a message on WhatsApp. Don't call me because I don't pick calls, okay? So now I want to assume at this point that you already have an account opened or you're using the service of an accredited agent portal to do your registration. So we'll just continue with that. Okay, so having said that, the next thing you need to understand is that when you're registering a company or a limited company on CAC, of course, there are about 7-8 steps that you need to carry out to complete your registration successfully. So what I have done for you is that I've created a form where you can easily fill in that form, get all the information that you need so that you don't begin to confuse yourself while doing the registration. You would have made sure that all of those information are already available before you start your registration process. And this is going to be very useful for you if you're doing this as a business. So I will just give you access to the link to download that particular form in the video description so that you can give it to your client or your customer. They will fill the form, get the form back to you, and then you can start your registration. So now I assume that you already have your account ready and that all the information that you will need to carry out your company registration are ready. So the next thing you need to do is to start the first process, which is called the name reservation. Okay, so this is an account that I'm using for this. Don't worry about all of this 11, 1, and 4, and all of these figures. In your own case, if you're using a personal account, you are not going to see all of these things here. I'm sure you might just be seeing 00000 here, except you have used that account to create businesses in time past. But if you are using an accredited agent portal, of course you might be seeing all of these numbers. Why? Because those accounts are registering multiple business. So I need to mention that so that you don't get yourself confused. Okay, so once you are in your dashboard, the first thing you need to do, like I said, is to reserve a name for this business. Okay, so for you to reserve a name, once again, you're going to come to pre-cac.gov.ng. Okay, and once it takes you to the home page, you want to come here and click on this search now. Okay, and it's going to bring you up to this tab where you are supposed to search for the name that you're trying to register. So let's assume that the name I want to register is ABCDEFG Venture as an example. All I need to do is to type in the name here, and I'm going to click on the search button and wait for this to load. So as you can see here, it says search not found. If you believe this is an error, please contact CAC to update your record. Now, what search not found means is that this particular business name called ABCDEFG is not existing on the CAC database, meaning that no business has registered this name. And what that means is that you can actually go ahead and use this name. So let's assume that you are trying to register a name. Let me just use a name that is already existing to show you what I'm trying to say here. Okay, let's just try this particular one. So as you can see here that this particular name has already been registered by other people. So it shows that you want to avoid this kind of name. That is just what I am trying to tell you about. So let's go back to our ABCDEFG venture. Okay, so you can see here that it's saying search not found. And again, you want to be sure that all these business name, company, incorporated trustees, limited partnership, and limited liability partnership, they are not highlighted. Okay, so you can see here it's not highlighted. If it's highlighted, the name will appear in green instead of this white background that you are seeing under each of these. Okay, so what the highlight means is that this name might not be existing as a business name, but it could be existing as an incorporated trustees. So in fact, what I tell people to do to carry out thorough availability search is to click on each of these. So as you can see, this example, what I mean by being highlighted, you can see here now that the background has changed to green. So you can see here it's saying search not found. If you come to company, do the same here, do the same here. Just make sure that on all of these, there is no search that is found for this particular name. That is the first thing. The second thing is that we have noticed these days that the CAC database can be unreliable, meaning that this name could actually be existing and yet CAC database will not show us that a name like that is already existing in time past. And when you register that name, CAC will come back and query that name and tell you that the name is not available for you to use, and then you just waste your 500 naira and your time. So what I tell people to do is that you can actually remove this venture. So if you have a business name that you are trying to register and maybe the name has 3 words, I want you to search for the first word. So for example, let's assume that you have, let's say, First Motion Venture, for example. Okay, so if you search for First Motion Venture and you cannot see anything, you can come and search for something like, you can delete this venture, you can delete this first and search for motion. So in this case, it's saying motion is also not found, but there are some situations where if you remove maybe the other names on your availability list, if you search for one of those names, it could show that a name is existing. Now what that means is that once a name is existing, maybe your business has 3 names, okay, and then you deleted the last 2 names and you search for the first name. If it shows that a name is existing on that first name, what it means is that the tendency that CAC will reject that name is higher because a name like that is already existing. But let's assume that there is a name that is existing, but that name is very different from your industry. Then also you can give it a try. Meanwhile, the other name that is existing is in, let's say, confectionery or catering service. You can see that the difference is actually clear. In that case, you can give it a try. Okay, so that is what you need to do while carrying out your availability search. And once you have carried out your availability search and you are at least sure that that name is not existing on the CAC database, all you need to do is to come back here and then click the name reservation. Now when you click the name reservation, you want to scroll down here to classification. Just come here and click the drop down arrow, and then in this case you want to select company. If it's a business name, you select a business name and the others. So I am selecting a company here because I'm registering a limited liability company. And then you come to the specific type here and you just come here and look for what, and then you pick the right one here. For this particular video, I am going to be registering a private company limited by shares, so I'm going to choose that. And then here is where you're going to pick out the name that you have done your availability search on, and then you're going to paste in the name here. Okay, but in this case you must make sure that you add limited to it because it's a limited company that you're trying to register. Here, if you like, you can actually add an option 2, meaning that if CAC do not approve option 1, they can go ahead and approve option 2. But from experience, we have noticed that CAC don't even recognize option 2 at all. So I don't even put it in at all because CAC don't recognize it. Okay, so once you do that, you want to click on the save and continue. All right, so once you click save and continue, it's going to bring you to this next page. So here it's asking for your reason for availability search. So you want to click on this drop down arrow, and in this case you want to choose new incorporation and registration. All right, so once you click new incorporation and registration, you again click save and continue. Okay, so once you do that, it's going to bring you up to this place where you're going to just make sure you check your entity details and make sure that everything you have imputed in your details are correct. Okay, once that is done, you want to click on save and continue again. Okay, so once you do that, it's going to ask you to pay a total fee of 500 naira. So all you need to do is just to click on remitter here. You can see here that is for name reservation, so you're going to wait for this page to load. All right, so you can see here, you just scroll all the way down and then you're just going to click on submit. So you are paying about 661 naira and 25 kobo. Okay, so all you need to do here is just to add your card detail and then you complete the payment. It's as simple as that. All right, so once you successfully make your payment, it's going to redirect you back to the home page. Okay, so it's going to redirect you back to the home page, and then you're going to see that your application is now pending. Okay, so if you click on it, you will see the application that you just paid for now in the pending reservation stage. All you need to do is to wait for a few days, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, sometimes up to a week or thereabout, and then your name will either be denied or it's going to be reserved. If it is denied, CAC will tell you the reason why the denial was done, and in that case you have to do another reservation afresh. Most time it's because a name is already existing, or maybe you are using a name that is not permitted for you to use. But then if your name was reserved, all you need to do is just to click the reserved box, and once you do, let's assume that this is the name that was reserved. All you need to do in this case is just to click the start registration. So once this is done and your name has been successfully reserved, then you can go ahead and start your company registration. All right, so at this point now you can see that our registration has moved from pending queried to reserved queries. Okay, of course, if that name was denied, you would have seen it here as 1, and then they will tell you the reason. Most time is because another name is already existing, or maybe because you are using a name that is restricted by CAC. Now what they mean by restricted names are names that you cannot just use. Okay, maybe names like fund, names like money. Okay, those names you might have to take a special permission from the Registrar General of the Federation before you can use the name. Okay, so what I used to advise my customers is that you don't need to use restricted names or those kind of statement words if it's not necessary. Okay, so you would have seen it here if it is denied. So here it has been reserved. So all I need to do is just to click on the reserved here, and then it's going to display. Of course, you can see in this particular account I have quite a number of names that have been reserved. We don't need all of them. You just, in your own case, you should just be 1, right? Except you are an accredited agent. Okay, so all I need to do is to come to the very name that I want to register as a company. As you can see here, it's saying start registration. Okay, so before I start registration, you can also see here the approval note. If you click on the approval note, it gives you all the details of that name. You might need some of these details later, but not for a normal registration. Okay, I just said I should show that to you. So let's go back to dashboard and click on reserved again. All right, now that we are here, all you need to do here to continue this registration is to click on start registration. All right, so what I'm going to do here, because I'm actually doing this for a client, I will not want to reveal all the information, but I'll just go ahead and explain everything that you are supposed to do here. Then I'll fill the form and then we'll go to the next page. As you can see here, we have we have 11 pages to really work on. Okay, but they are all simple processes, especially if you know what you're doing. So here they are saying principal business activity classification 1. Okay, so what you are supposed to do here is just to click the drop down arrow, and you can see here, now here you have to choose the most relevant classification to your own business. Now so many people usually get this, they worry themselves about this, and some of them will ask me, okay, what should I use? The truth is there's nobody that can memorize everything here. All you need to do is just to calmly go through them. At least from here you'll be able to have an idea, or the best idea of the kind of business that you're trying to register. So for this very business, we are actually trying to register a water production company, or a sachet water and bottled water production company. So all I need to do is just to come to this manufacturing here, okay, and then I'll come to the principal business activity classification 2. So the difference between classification 1 and 2 is that classification 1 is like a general classification, while classification 2 explains even deeper, or more specifically, what this classification 1 is all about. For example, this is manufacturing. Manufacturing of what? Okay, so that's what we're saying here. So I'll just click the drop down arrow, and then I'll come here and look for my own classification. Let me go down and look for that. So you can see here it says production and sales of bottled and packed water. You can see it's as simple as that. So here they're asking for principal activity description. So here we have already chose our classification 1, we've done 2. So here there are some times that the kind of business that you're trying to register will not be adequately explained by your classification 2. Now, in my own case, production of and sales of bottled and packed water, but for your own case, it might not always be like that. So you have an opportunity here to describe your business. Now, when you're describing your business, like I used to say, see, the less words you use, the less sentences you use, the better for you. Okay. Number one, CAC does not like you to give them unnecessary details like your goals, your objective, the reason why you're in business, how you want to make people happy, how you want to solve the environmental. They don't care about that. So for example, you can see here that they said, if I want to describe my business here, some of you, if you want to, maybe let's say a water company, okay, you can start saying to produce clean and portable and healthy water for the community, so you get it. They don't want all of those information. They want you to go strictly to the business that you want to do professionally. So all I need to do in this instance is just to write production and sales of bottled and packed water. It's as simple as that, okay? Can you see that? You don't want to start adding unnecessary things that they don't want. When you do that, most times you'll be queried, okay? So you can see it's as simple as that, and make sure that you use the right terms, okay? One of the examples I like sharing all the time was, there was a guy that he actually has a gas refilling business. And then when he was describing his business, he went and had oil and gas. I mean, you don't want to do that because you are not in oil and gas. And immediately CAC saw that, they query it and say it's a big business, he has to increase his share capital, okay? So you want to make sure you use the right word, as simple as possible and as straightforward as possible, okay? Every other one is easy, your email, your phone number. Okay, let's talk a little bit about your registered address. Now, state here is straightforward again. All you need to do is just to come here and choose your state. Again, once you choose your state, you can come here and choose your local government area. Sometimes it's possible that if you click on local government area, it can be blank, okay? If it's blank, what happens is that you just have to come back here, choose another state, then again, go ahead and choose the right state. If you come back to local government, it's going to show up. I just said I should show you that, okay? So you just put in your local government, and then you're going to put in your city. Now here, some people actually misinterpret this to be city and town and village. No, what they're actually saying here is that, are you living in a city? Put in a city. If it's a town, put in a town. If it's a village, put in a village. So in this case, you're not going to be adding city and then town and then village. No. So if you're in, for example, I've chose Cross River here. If I'm in Calabar, just say Calabar. If you're in Odukpani, you say Odukpani. If you're in Ugep, you say Ugep, okay? If you're in Akwabuyo, you say Akwabuyo. So you're not supposed to say Calabar, Akwabuyo in the same place. Just put in, if you're in a city, you put in a city. If it's a town, you put in a town. And if it's a village, you put in a village. Okay, so here for your postcode, as you can see here, it's not asterisk in red, so it is not compulsory, but I love to fill my stuff, everything. So all you need to do is just to come to Google and just say, for example, you can say postal code for Calabar, and then you search for it. Okay, so you can see Calabar zip code. So all you need to do is just to pick anyone here and just come in to fill it in here. But like I said, it's not compulsory. Okay, so here as you can see here, CAC has told you exactly what they want you to do. Here they say you should put in your house number. If the house does not have a number, then write the building name. It must either be a house number or a building name. So all you need to do here is just say 4 if it is number 4. 22 if it is number 22. And if your house or the place of your business or your registered house, it does not have a number, then you can put in a name. Now, we all know how complicated the issue of address can be in Nigeria sometimes. You just have to formulate something for CAC, even if you're living in a place that does not have a regularized address. And if your house does not have a number and it does not have a name, just put your own name. You can say, my name is Muyiwa, for example. I can say Muyiwa House. That is if your house does not have a number and it does not have a recognized name. But you just have to put something. If you don't put anything here, CAC will query it and tell you that they cannot trace your address. Okay, so once you put in the number or the name, come here and put in just the street name or the road name. So if you're living or your address is a street, put in the street name. If it's a road, put in a road name. Okay, so that is all you want to do. Now, after you have put in your street name, you don't need to add, okay, let's say I'm living at Marian Road. I don't need to put Marian Road, Calabar again. As you can see here, I don't need to put that because when CAC is computing all of this, they are still going to add this Calabar here down to this place and the Cross River State down to this place. So if you have gone ahead to add Calabar to this place again, by the time your certificate is coming out, it's going to come out as Marian Road, Calabar, another Calabar here. And that is exactly what you don't want. I think the only state that that kind of a thing can happen is Lagos. Okay, where you can have Lagos and then Lagos State. So make sure that all you are putting is just the road or the street name. That is all you need to do. And then don't come here and put in the street number. This thing I'm telling you is the reason why some applications will not be approved, and I'm serious about that. So make sure you take that seriously. And then here, if you have an office address that is different from the residential or the address that you are using here, just go ahead and do the same thing here. And once you do that, you can click save and continue. So I will just pause this video, add those details, and then we go to page 2. All right, so you can see here I have filled the whole form just like I explained to you. So once I'm done with that, you will see that this save and continue button would have been highlighted now. So all I need to do is just to click save and continue. All right, so it takes me to the second step now, which is for us to add objects for our business. Now here at object, here what CAC wants you to do is to just impute what your business does in business term. So for example, you want to use statements like we are in the business of maybe rendering so and so service. Okay, so like this one that I'm doing is a pure water and a bottled water company. So all I need to do is just to write something like to produce or to manufacture bottled water and packed water for sale. It's as simple as that. Now, you don't want to start putting in your goals and your visions and your objectives and all of those things. No, no, no. When you do that, CAC will most likely query your application. You want it to be as simple, just like I explained while I was talking about the description of business, just as simple, as straightforward as possible in business terms. So if you're a school, you know, to run a primary and secondary school, something like that. If you are a graphic designer, to offer graphic design services to the public, as simple as that. Don't tell them to offer the best and the quality graphic design so that the people will be happy and all of no. Nobody cares about that. Okay, so that's what you want to do. Okay, so all I need to do is just to click on the add object here, and then I'm going to impute what my objectives are. And if your business is not really a multi-packed business, if it's just a simple straightforward business, you don't need to add 2, 3, 4 objectives. It's really not very necessary. For example, for these ones that they produce bottled and packed water, I don't have to put 2 objectives and say 1 bottled water and then 2 packed water. No, because the 2 of them still revolve around the same thing. I can just say production of bottled and packed water or sachet water. Simple as that. Okay, so it's not necessary that you must have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 objectives. As a matter of fact, the more objectives you have, the more exposed your application is to CAC query. So you want to keep it as short and as simple as possible. So I'll go ahead and do that for this business. So you can see here, to produce bottled water and packed sachet water for sale. You can see as simple as that. Okay, so once I'm clear with that, I'll just click on add here. And then if yours has another business that you think that you really need to add another objective, of course you can always do that and add a new one. So obviously this one does not require it, so I can just go ahead and continue. So here you can see that you must enter at least one object. So once you're done with that, just come here and click save and continue. Okay, so here you are asked for the article of association witness information. So like I already explained before, here you want to make sure that you have a witness that can witness the fact that you are real and that your company is real. It can be anybody as long as it's an adult and then the person has a business description or a job. It can just be anybody. So just go ahead. Like I said, everything here again is simple and straightforward. So I'll go ahead and do that right now. All right. So this is what I was trying to explain the previous time. Okay. So here, if I come here and click local government, you can see here that it's not really highlighting anything for me. If you encounter this problem, all you need to do is just to come to this particular place, come here and choose another random state. And then you can see that it's now working. So come back here again and choose the real state. I'm doing for Bayelsa. Okay, so you can see now that the local government area is now highlighting. So all I need to do is just to pick the right one here and continue my registration. All right, so once I'm done filling the form, you can see here again that the add witness button is now highlighted. So all I need to do is just to click on add witness, and then it's going to show up here. And then once it does that, I'm going to just scroll down here at add articles or adopt default articles. Don't click on add articles, please just click on the adopt default article here. Once you do that, scroll all the way down. While you're scrolling, make sure you don't touch anything here, make sure you don't delete anything, make sure you don't edit anything. Just leave everything the way they are. Then you come to the bottom of the page here, and then you can see the save and continue button again, so click on that. Alright, so automatically here my director has been added because this particular registration actually has only one director. So in your own case, if it happens that the director was not automatically added, all you need to do is just to click on add director. You're going to see add director here, and then you can go ahead and fill the name manually. It's just the same example like I already gave you before, but my own has already been filled automatically here, so I don't really need to do anything again. All right, so if in your own business or the company you are trying to register, if they have more than one director, because it's actually possible that you can have more than one director, as you can see here, all you need to do is just to click on the add another director here, and then you can manually fill in the director information just like I've already explained before. And then once you are done filling in your director, you just come here and click save and continue again. Okay, so here if you have a company secretary, you can just come here and add your individual secretary or corporate secretary, but most of the people I work for, people don't really have secretaries like that, so it's not compulsory that you must have a secretary. So if you don't have a secretary at all you need to do is just to come to this, click here, and then you can jump this process, and then it's going to take you to this point. Okay, so this is where I really want you guys to take note of and understand my description very well. Now you can see here that we have a 72 list here that CAC has provisionally given to us. Now these are examples of big companies, and what I mean by big companies are companies that have their share capital value that is more than 1 million naira. Okay, now there are two types of companies that you can register on CAC. We have what we call the small companies, and we have the bigger companies. So if you're trying to explain this to somebody and they ask you, what do you mean by a small company, tell them that a small company is a company that has their share capital that is less than or under 1 million naira. And then most of the small businesses, maybe catering service, maybe pure water company, all of those normal companies are really okay to register them as small companies, because do know also that the bigger your share capital, the more tax you're going to be paying. So there's no reason for you to want to go for a huge share capital, because some people actually tell me that they want their share capital to be big, and I say, for what? Okay, you don't need to do that. Okay, so if you're a small company, you can generously choose between 100,000 naira to, let's say, 900,000 naira as your minimum share capital. But anything that makes you call yourself a big company, you must go with this list. Okay, so if you say you want to register a 50 million share capital business now, and your business is not in this list, then you have to go and register as a small company. That's what it means. Okay, so anytime somebody comes to you and the first thing, I'm going to provide this list for you also so that you can check it up. What you want to do is that you want to go through all of this list to make sure that the company that you are trying to register does not fall in here. Okay, if it does fall in here, that means you must pick one of these share capital that you're seeing. You must pick the very share capital. Like for example, look at Bureau de Change now, it's 35 million. Neither can they go under 35 million. It is constant. It has to be like this. Okay, so by the time you're sure that your company is there, note your share capital. And if your company is not there, that means it's a small business according to CAC. Okay, so once you're good with that, just come here and click on close. Then you want to come in here to this statement of issued share capital. Now if you click on this type of business, select that category, you can see here that we have basically two categories really. The first one is the entity with shares below 5 million, and then every other one. Now all these other things you're seeing here are what we just saw a few moments ago. Okay, so like I said, if your own company fall into any of these lists, you go ahead and pick it. If you pick this one, now you can see here that it's 2 million, right? This is a 2 million share capital company. There's nothing you can do about it. But if your company is a small company with share capital that is below 5 million, you want to come in here and choose entity with share below 5 million. As you can see here, the minimum share capital for such company is 100,000 naira. So here you can choose between 1 million and between 100,000 to 1 million. Okay, but me, for small companies, I just love to go between 100,000 to 900,000, sometimes 200, sometimes 300, depending on if the business is really a small business. So that's what you want to do in this case. So once you do that, you want to come to this total issued share capital. Okay, so if it's a 500,000 naira share capital company, for example, all you need to do is to come here and pick out the 500,000. As you're picking it in figure, it will be showing itself in words here. If it is 600, you put 600. If it is 100, but it cannot go below 100. But you want to make sure that if it's a small company, just try to make it between 100 and 900,000 naira. Okay, so once you put in that, you come to this number 2 here, breakdown of total issued share capital. Here at class of share, if you click on it, you want to come here and pick equity or ordinary. Okay, don't pick preference. Here again, you want to quote that your share capital, which in this case is 500,000. Sorry, 500,000. As you can see here, 500,000, and then divided into how many units. Here again, you want to put it and say 500,000 also. As you can see, you can see here that everything has been issued or divided, which is 1. Okay, just leave it exactly the way it is. Once you do that, you come in here and click add share detail. So you can see that everything has been represented here for us. If you want to edit it, you can always click edit, and if you made a mistake, you can always delete and do it again. So once you do that, the third option or the third step here is to add your shareholders. Now you can add individual shareholders, you can add corporate shareholders, and you can add minors. Okay, now this minor is maybe if you have kids that are under 18 and you want to add them, you can always add them here. For if they ask for their business, for example, you just put minor there, and if they ask for their ID, you can just use their birth certificate as the ID here. So all you need to do here is this is a normal addition of individual shareholders that are adults, so I'm just going to click on that. Okay, I've intentionally decided to show you this. Actually, when I was doing this registration, I had to log off and do some other things, so I logged out of this account, and now I'm back in the account. Now all I need to do is just to come to this non-submitted, because I already started the registration, but I left, I didn't finish it up. So you can see here, it's already waiting for me here at not submitted. The same thing happens if you were doing name reservation and you did not finish your reservation. Maybe you log off for any reason and you come back. When you come back, you don't need to start a new reservation again. Once you click on not submitted here, it's going to take you to the reservation you were doing before you logged out of the account. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, so don't be confused. I just decided to show you that. Okay, so let's continue from where we stopped. So I'm going to just click on not submitted, and this is the registration I was trying to do. So I'll just click on continue. All right, so I will just keep scrolling from here until I get to where I actually stopped. You can see what we are doing. I decided to show you all of this because I want this particular video to be as informative and as deep as possible, so that If you watch this video, you should not even have any problem with your CAC registration again forever. I intentionally did it like that. Okay? So I'll just save and continue, save and continue. Okay, here remember, I'm just going to click here to skip. I'm going to close this. Okay, so this is where we were. And I've also explained all of this. So right now, let's go ahead and add our individual shareholders. Before we add that, let me explain that you can have more than one shareholder if you're registering a company. So you need to know, is it one, is it two, is it three? Now, the way you're going to be adding this is going to be according to the number of persons that are the shareholder of this company. So let's click on the individual shareholder. Okay, so what you need to do here is that, once again, just like I've always explained on how to fix in your personal details, you're going to fix in all the details here, the phone number, the nationality, the address. Okay, you already know how to do that. So let me just scroll down to where I want us to talk about. Okay, so here, let's come to share allotment. Okay, so that's where we are. Now, they're asking us what is the type of share that we are trying to impute here. Of course, we will always choose the equity or the ordinary. Now, what are you going to put in this number of shares allotted? Now, remember that this business is actually a 500,000 share capital business, okay? If your own is 1 million share capital, it's going to follow the same procedure. If it is 2 million, the same. If it is 50 million, the same. If it is 100,000, which is the lowest share capital for company registration, you will still do the same thing. So here now, in this particular registration, there are two shareholders on this company, or for this company. So what I need to do is that the 500,000 naira that we are using as our minimum or our share capital, we're going to divide it into how many? 2. Okay, so if yours is 3 shareholders, you're going to divide it into 3. If it is 4, into 4, and the rest of them like that. Now, you're going to use percentage to give each of the shareholders the particular amount of share that is allotted to them. Okay, so because this is a 500,000 naira share business, what I needed to do was to ask my customer that how many shareholders do they have, or does this business have? And he said there are 2 of them. Now, this next question I'm going to ask him or her is this: what is the percentage of each shareholder in the business? Okay, so in this particular one, the owner of this business said I should make it 70% for the principal owner of the business, which is the director, and then 30% for the second shareholder. So what happened is that if I want to do this calculation, I'm just going to say 500,000 times 70 over 100. That's the 70%, and that's going to give me 350,000. Okay, 350,000. So that means this person, or the first shareholder, is owning 350,000 of the 500,000, which is the 70% of 500,000. Okay, while the second owner, of course, or the second shareholder, will have how many now? 30%. And if you are going to get that, it's just going to be 350 minus 500, which is going to be 150. So it's going to be 30 times 500,000 divided by 100. That's going to be 150. So that means the first shareholder is owning 350,000, which is what we are going to put here, as you can see here, of 500,000. And then the second shareholder is going to own 150,000. So that's just what all this place is all about. So after I've filled in the personal information of the first shareholder and I've concluded here, okay, I'll just add this shareholder, which I will do right about now, and then I'll go and do for the second shareholder. So if yours is 3 shareholders, you're going to divide it by 3. Just make sure that all your division, even if there are 10 of them, at the end of the day, you want to make sure that all of them equals to how many? 100%. Okay, so if there are 3 shareholders here, if one is 70, one has to be 20 or 15, whatever, or the other one has to be 10. Just make sure that at the end of the day, when you divide all the percentage of the shareholders, it's equal to 100. Okay, and then by the time you divide the actual figure, okay, you can see this is the actual figure. Everything must be equal to the total number of shares that you are using to register for this business. It's as simple as that. So I'll go ahead and fill in this information now, and then we continue. All right, so once I fill everything, you can see here that the add shareholder is now active. So I'm just going to click on that. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and do exactly the same for the second shareholder, and then you just repeat it for as many shareholders that your company is having. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, so once I'm done filling my form, I can just check it up to be sure that I've done the right thing, as you can see here. Okay, so once I'm cool with that, I'll just click on save and continue again. All right, so here at persons with significant control, now you can see here CAC says one or more persons who hold up to 5% share have automatically been added to the list of the PSC. That's the persons with significant control according to CAMA 2020. Please ensure to edit and update the PS information. So what they are saying here is that as long as the shareholder has at least 5% of this company share, the person is automatically added here as being a person with significant control. So if you don't want that to happen, maybe you just want only one person, maybe the main owner of the business would be the person with significant control, then yes, you are permitted to actually delete the ones that you don't want. Sometimes it can be more than one, two, okay? So depending on the number of shareholders you have. So just delete it if you don't want all of them to be PSCs. But here, I'm okay with these two being the PSCs, so I'll just save and continue. Okay, so here at statement of compliance, I'll just scroll just to be sure that everything is well done. Again, this one will be automatically filled in for you also. Okay, so once you are clear on that, save and continue again. All right, so here it's also very simple. This is the page where we are now going to be uploading our document. The only thing you need to know here is that for means of identification, it has to be in PDF format, so you want to convert it to PDF. While every other documents like the signature, passport photograph, they can either be in PNG or JPEG format, okay? So here again, the second thing you need to know is that here, you can see here they are saying it's required. So everywhere you see yes, 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 here, it shows that you must upload those documents, okay? So just look at it. It's going to be well stated for you so that you know what is what. You don't want to mix them up. Your own document upload page can actually be longer than this. For example, if you have more than 2-3 shareholders, all of them will have to upload their documents. So yours can be longer than this. I mean the yes, yes, yes. While for the optional here, just look at it. Most of the time you will not need to upload anything, okay? We don't need to upload anything. The only one that is again important is here. Sometimes if you're doing a registration for a business that require that you upload a proficiency certificate. Now, a proficiency certificate is just a certificate to show that that person that is claiming that particular business is an expert in what he or she does. For example, if you own a clinic, you might have to show that, yeah, you are a certified medical doctor, the same thing maybe with a law firm and stuff like that. In that case, you will have to convert those certificates into PDF and then upload them as optional here. So that is what this whole place is all about. So I'll just pause this video again and then I will upload all of these documents and then we'll continue from there. Okay, so you can see now that I have uploaded all the necessary documents, okay? So I think I'm good now. So you just scroll down and then again, you're going to click on save and continue. Okay, so here is this preview or the summary of all your registration. So once again, you might really want to go and check everything up to be sure that everything they have imputed, they are correctly imputed in. Okay, just scroll all the way down. And once you see that you are good to go, then you just come here and then you're going to click proceed to payment. All right, so as you can see here, it's a under 1 million naira business. As you can see here that I am to pay 10,000 naira for the business name. So all I need to do, but of course, if you're doing more than 1 million share capital business, your money is not going to be 10,000 naira, okay? Okay, so I'll just go ahead and click on remitter here. Okay, so all I need to do here is just to choose any of my payment system. The two I use very well are card payment and then bank transfer. But then you can feel free to use anyone that you think you're most convenient with. So I'll just go ahead and impute my card details now and then I'm going to pay this money. Okay, so I'm going to click on pay. I'll complete this payment. Okay, I will impute my OTP. So you can see this payment is now successful. All right, so the payment is successful. Like I used to tell people, make sure you download your receipt because you might always need it later. Okay, so I'll just do that. Okay, so once I download my receipt, then I'll go over again and pay for the stamp duty, which is the second payment I need to pay for a company registration. All right, so now you can see that it's working. So again, I'm going to just impute my card details and then I'm going to complete this payment. As you can see here, I'm paying 4,378.46 naira. Okay, that's because I'm actually doing a business that it's under 1 million naira share capital. If it is more than 1 million naira share capital, I'm going to be paying, I think, around 9,000 or thereabout. So that's how it works. So let me go ahead and do that right now. So you can see that the payment is now successful. So now it's verifying my payments. Okay, so you can see here now application moved to pending. Okay, so that means this has been done successfully. So I'll just go back to my dashboard to confirm. So you can see now that this particular application has moved from not submitted to pending. So if I click on pending, you will see that this is the application we are talking about. So I'm just going to wait for a few days and then this application will be approved. Of course, if you did your job right, you will not even get any query at all. So I'm not even expecting to get any query from this registration. So I'll just come back here. Okay, so all you need to do is that normally if you're using your own account, you could see 0 here, but if you're using maybe an accredited agent account, you may not see 0, you may see 1, you may see 2, you may see 3, depending on how many registrations you are doing on that account. Okay, so after a few days, just come back and click the registered section. Okay, and then you just keep looking out for your business name or your company to see if it has been registered. So that's how it works. Like I said, it's not going to happen in 1 day or 2 days. How many days we don't know. It depends on how fast or slow CAC decide to do their reviews. Okay, so once you have been registered successfully, all you need to do is just come to download documents here, and then you just go ahead and download your certificate. So that is exactly how it works. So guys, this is it. I hope you have been able to use this free guide to register a limited company with the CAC. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and if you're a first time or an unsubscribed visitor and you love to see more amazing videos like this one, then hit the subscribe button, turn on the alert notification so that YouTube can notify you when I publish new videos. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.